Hi everyone, this is the video for the week and it's quite a fun one, leading on from last week's conversation actually about the nostalgia that is in documentaries like In Search of Darkness, that love for the halcyon days of the video rentals and finding horror movies on the video shelves. I've got something continuing from that anyway. But before that, a couple of things. First of all, I listen back to our podcast sometimes because Dave does the editing and gives us the rough draft, as it were, to listen to. And I always hate listening to myself. I think everyone hates hearing their own voice on recorded equipment. I know that I pause and quite a bit, and I hope that doesn't irritate people too much. What that is I write very few notes actually. I have tabs up, otherwise I'm terrible with names and dates. So they're all there. My notes are there, but I'm ready to go with the flow of the conversation. So it depends on what Dave, Tyler, or Craig has been saying. They might have already covered everything that I would say. They might have taken things in a direction close to where I'm going, and then I'll segue in from there with my conversation. That's the way we do it. That's the way I do it. We have our notes, but we're also having a conversation. That's the point of the podcast. Otherwise, we would just sit there and read out numerous other reviews and summaries of the movie. So I hope it's not too irritating. I hope you can understand that it's to encourage the free-flowing nature and thought process of that. The same way I do these videos, but I'm kind of thinking faster with the videos because it's just me and the camera. It's not me responding to other people and gathering my thoughts compared to what they've also said. I had a fun experience with the camera last night. Nothing like that, calm down. Dr. AC, the horror channel, I will link below. I joined Aaron and Christian to discuss the Quatermass films, and he will be dropping that video in, I think, hopefully the next few weeks. I was very intimidated because the whole thing is in video form, and I can't hide away. My eye line's always going to my notes. I don't know where to look while other people are speaking for a while. It's a very unnerving thing, but also very enjoyable. Great conversation about the whole Quatermass series. I don't think we missed anything out, and I look forward to promoting that and sharing it around when that drops. Was there anything else today? Funnily enough, I mentioned my fear from Return of the Living Dead last week, and some people enjoyed that tale. Dawn of the Dead, DONNA, I think it's THADEAD. Perhaps there's lines in between. Her podcast is very enjoyable. I've mentioned her before. She dropped an episode today because it's July 3rd, all about Return of the Living Dead, and it's a really enjoyable listen. You should check it out today or tomorrow, because Return of the Living Dead covers the dates of July 3rd to July 4th within the movie, and that's great. And me wanting to mention Dawn of the Dead reminded me that although I was critical of the In Search of Darkness documentaries last time, I don't often spend too much time. I don't think I ever really tend to single people out if I am being critical of a trend of bad habits, of what I see as bad practices. I've mentioned before my gripe with podcasts that simply deliver entire summaries of movies. I've mentioned other gripes that I have, but what I would say is the people that I mention positively, Dawn of the Dead, the Watch Skip Plus guys, the GGTMC and all of their family, Not a Bomb podcast, anyone else I listen to, Black on Black Cinema, such a wide range. I mean, it's still well over 100 now. I would rather do that every now and again and hope that you can assume that others are just, they are maybe notable by their omission. So there you go. Or you can ask me, if you're checking out a podcast, you can ask, I'm checking, you know, these folks out, what do you think? And I would say there are just so many. There are just so many. So the ones I remember to mention are, you know, are standouts for me, including hopefully ourselves in that group. So this arrived fortuitously last week after the conversation, and this is a thing of beauty. I've been critical of Arrow Video in the past, and I did actually order this from Amazon, but it's really good. It's probably the best thing that they've done in some time. What you have is the Dungeon Master, and there are plenty of little goodies. Oh, this, you know, you've got the Arrow Video membership card. There we go. Pop along to any store and try and rent a movie. You've got dolls. I've actually seen dolls, and I really enjoy dolls. I think, I mean, really, with dolls, there's only one image you can have for dolls. There we go. A really enjoyable film. I'll hopefully try and make time to revisit that at some point. It's a Stuart Gordon film. I didn't think it was up there with his best, but again, it was one that I've been waiting to watch for a long time. And I have now a spare Blu-ray of Dolls, so that will be bundled together with something at some point as a prize. Cellar Dweller, which is a film I wanted to see for many years, and again, I think I'll stick with that one, actually, in case it's too rude for YouTube. I watched this last week and enjoyed it, but perhaps unsurprisingly, it wasn't as great as the film that I'd had in my mind since I was about 9 or 10 years old when I saw that. Arena, I've somehow never seen Arena. I'm looking forward to that. Actually, yeah, that one has to be turned around because that was basically the image that I always saw when Arena was in the video stores. And Robot Jox. Robot Jox is a film that I eventually saw, and once again was slightly underwhelmed, but I didn't want to shout about it too much because it's another Stuart Gordon film. I love Stuart Gordon. I'll decide if they're all getting turned around, but that's Robot Jox image. There's also obviously a canny little book here, some nice stuff. It's just a gorgeous package. I would highly recommend it if you enjoy any of those titles, if you enjoy that that kind of atmosphere we've been discussing lately, the nostalgia soaked fondness for the times we were sent along to the video store. And because people tended to enjoy my Golden Child / Return of the Living Dead tale from last week, I have one more video tale that has come to mind. Not everyone had this equipment in their home, of course, and certainly not everyone had a VCR in every room. You know, unless you were very well to do. It wasn't like the DVD players and Blu-ray players now. I think you can still probably find them for £20. VCRs for quite a while stayed quite expensive for the piece of equipment it was. So I never had my own, and it was before the time where you would get the TV VCR combi. Well, the peak years were before then. So my my mother was dating someone who had the grand idea of the cable extension. What they could do was extend the cable between the main TV, went all around the upper wall, snaked through the doorway into my room, and I could plug it into my TV. Brilliant. I can watch what I like. A whole new world awaits me. I'll invite friends round and we will watch anything. The nastiest stuff. The horrors. We'll watch them. So we went to the video store and we rented a film called Night Screams. Now, I can't recall the plot of Night Screams, and I've got an image here I'll show you, but the text isn't very clear, so I can't read it. And anyway, you'll find out why in a moment. Let's see. There we go. Night Screams. That was the video cover image that drew us to Night Screams. Obviously, it was lurid. The tagline is, tonight their screams will fall on dead ears. Yeah, great tagline, great image. Winner, winner. Started watching Night Screams with a friend who was visiting, and Night Screams, in my memory, and bear in mind this is many decades ago now, was violent from the beginning, violent death, and then gratuitous nudity. Violent death, gratuitous nudity. We picked the right title. My friend and I thinking, this is it. This is the best film ever. We shall watch this as many times as we can before it goes back to the video store. Problem is, with the cable being connected between the machine to my room, meant that my mother and her partner could also check in on what we were watching. So we were enjoying Night Screams and getting ready for the next violent death or bit of gratuitous nudity. For some reason, the violent death passed by okay, and the next bit of gratuitous nudity, the lines started to move as the tape was fast forwarded through it. And then there weren't as many violent deaths throughout the rest of the film. It was a very, very dull affair. Got to more gratuitous nudity. We're thinking, oh, we'll get lucky this time. The lines started to go as it was fast forwarded through. I was crushed. I couldn't just enjoy this gratuitous nudity in peace. As a young pre-teenage or teenage lad that I was, it was crushing. But that was how it went sometimes in the old days, when your viewing choices were dictated by the cable reaching the main equipment in the living room. I've never seen Night Screams. I don't think I should rush to watch it, but part of me just wants to mark it off the list one day so I can say, yeah, I did see it. It was terrible, and I've now seen it. If you've seen Night Screams, please let me know. Will it be worth the revisit after all these years? It'll be a first time viewing for me, because I didn't see half the film, what was being fast forwarded. But again, please let us know your VHS memories. It's a fun time, and I really enjoyed hearing the tales from Dawn of the Dead as she was discussing Return of the Living Dead and her own fear of the Tar Man as well. So we share that, which is good. I'm sure there are more of you out there that have the same or similar experiences. That's it for this week. On the podcast this week we are covering Muscle, which I think is 2018 or 2019 movie, and the Larry Clark version of Teenage Caveman, picked by Tyler, which is from, I'm going to say, late 90s, early 2000s. So that should be fun. I got to the cinema last week to see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, as I mentioned in the podcast. I can see why people might be put off by certain elements. I thought it was wonderful. I thought it was a great final adventure for Harrison Ford as the character. It's a shame that, you know, it's underperforming. I don't think it'll end up doing that well. I thought it was great. I really thought it was great. I thought everyone was pretty great in it. So I recommend it, and maybe try and see it while you can. But you know, it's been 50-50 with indie fans whether they've enjoyed it or not. So I can't 100% recommend it to you, but I recommend it to you as something that I really enjoyed. And I thought they got the tone just right, as I said on the podcast, with the sweetness and the nostalgia and the entertainment and the wit and the just all the elements you want from an Indiana Jones movie. Mainly Harrison Ford. that really is it now. This has been a bit of a longer one this week. I like to do that sometimes. Until next week, bye.